another edition for the Memphis Team Report. Hi, I'm Drake Okie, the Memphis Athletic Director. And today we've asked 3 guests to come visit our show and introduce them to you from our cross-country team. We have junior
Tyler Carlson.
We have freshman
Courtney Carlson.
and we have our coach of our cross-country team as well as our track team.
Lori Sanborn.
And welcome.
Thank you.
We're very proud to have you here, as we've been proud of all your expertise this year in running our cross-country teams. Tyler, this is your 3rd year running on our cross-country team. You know, as a junior, you had some great accolades, and share a few of them with us.
I placed pretty decent in a few races. At states, I placed 18th all state. That's about it.
Well, you say place 18th. Explain to the people, what does that mean?
In this big race, I ran kind of quick, so then I got a good place. I got a medal.
18 out of how many other runners?
250.
Just over 250.
250. And your sister Courtney, as a freshman, that'd be pretty exciting to you. You represented Memphis, unfortunately singly, but yet fortunately for us, you know, you represented the team very well, boys and girls. Why don't you tell us a few things about, you know, how your season went this year and any of the accolades you achieved?
Well, I started off kind of rough, but I just kept training, and eventually I got better, and I pulled it together, and I made it to states.
What did you have to do to qualify for states?
Well, you have to get 15th out of.
At regionals, you have to place top 15. She's being very, very modest.
Yes, you're being a little too modest.
She actually medaled in 7 out of the 8 races that we prior to regionals.
Right.
And did amazing.
Well, I know at the state tournament, I had a chance to go down and watch you run, and you were able to stay warm while you were running the track. And
Yeah.
you know, we were trying to, I know by the time I ran from one spot, where you started to the other spot, I think I got to about the same time you guys got there. But, you know, Coach Sanborn, you've had an opportunity to coach these 2 as well. How many boys do you have on your boys team?
Well, the boys team, 7 run as a team, okay, but we have 11 that actually, they jockey for positions. We now are coming out of our fledgling, what you would call fledgling program, and we're moving into where we are now respected. And we are now getting other schools to come in, and so people are starting to vie and compete for those individual spots. It's amazing to coach him. I'm just so happy to actually have Courtney come along, because Courtney just works, she's got grit, she trains with the guys and does real well with them, and that just pushed her. At the beginning of the season, she told me her goal was to qualify for states, and she worked hard to qualify for states as a freshman. It's the first time in our school's history for cross country that we had a state team for the boys go, and then we had an individual women's qualifier. So I'm very, very proud of them. They work really hard, and we're going to continue working hard. Just looking forward to going right into the track season.
Well, I know they're both being very modest. We both know that. I guess, Coach, when I look at, you know, if you could share, you know, just tell the people you can just really how difficult it is. I mean, you know, like Tyler said, he was 18th out of 250, but
easy.
how many kids and how many kids do they really have to get to just qualify for state?
Okay, at regionals, there's about 150 or so you have to place in the top 15. And these are the best kids from our region, which means all the school near the thumb. To prepare for that, we run races all over. We run down in Macomb County, we run against Anchor Bay and some other schools that are higher end to get them stronger. But to get to that level in the summer, what you don't realize is we start the program basically in June, July. They start putting the mileage in, and they run, 50, 60 miles to get used to it. And then when we come in back together.
Is that on a weekly basis?
Yes, 50, 60 miles a week, roughly. But the goal, it's on them to do that by themselves, because I can't coach that. And so they're getting into the routine of doing that, and they actually, we run out in groups. And then I can come in legally, like near the end of summer, and start really fine tuning and throwing in the hill work and the things that they just love. But these 2 of the team, we've got a great team. There's a lot of other great qualifiers on that team. But the camaraderie between them is amazing. They run together. We've now had team dinners and things together. But to get to that level, extremely difficult. And that's why cross country, you don't get 50 kids that are going to qualify. You'll get the 7, 8 kids that'll qualify. And for us to do that, for second time as a team and first time having an individual woman, that's a high mark to hit. And we did it. They did it, not me.
Now, this is your 8th year coach since you started the program, and you do it, you know, you have a few assistant coaches, but for the most part, all you and your coaches do it voluntarily for the most part, right?
Yes.
So, which I mean, I would greatly appreciate that. I know a couple of years ago we had a runner, Aiden Francis, that had an opportunity to get a scholarship and go run at Algonac. I'm sorry,
Alpena.
Alpena, I'm sorry. You know, where do you think your program is after Aiden?
Okay.
I mean, you know, Aiden kind of set the pace, I think.
Right.
You know, for these other kids to aspire to. Where do you think your program is now to encourage more kids to want to run it, and then also to get where Aiden was and have an opportunity to go run in college? Where do you think your kids are with that?
In 2011, when we started it, Aiden was a 6th grader, and we thought at that time that our goal was to get him to states by the time he got to his sophomore year. Well, we made that goal. We definitely have lowered the mark in terms of, how do I say this? The goal has been tightened now because now we're expecting to get to states. And the atmosphere when we have our practices and things is we are going to states. So our program has definitely moved up. And now we've got notoriety. People see the kids running all around the town, everywhere, all through the year. And now we're getting the community to understand that this is not just you just go run one race and you're done. This is a dedication and a hard-working, sometimes very achy kind of practice to get their wind up. So we are definitely higher now, and I'd say that if we don't qualify for states now, we feel it's a failure. And so the last couple of years, I mean, we've moved up, and once Aiden graduated, we've now set that mark, and now the group that we've got is excellent. Now we have some nice freshmen coming up. We also coach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and that's like our feeder. But we're not a huge school, so we get that group of kids who are really dedicated. And that next crop coming up, it looks real good. The future looks really good for the next 4 or 5 years at least.
Well, and they have some good role models.
Yes, and that's what they're looking to. And these two are great mentors.
With Tyler and Courtney and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's, I know, awesome, and I know we have some other runners as well that have done well.
Right.
I guess, Coach, Courtney, if I could ask you, you know, having your brother on the team, I'm sure, helped, but being a lone girl representing a team, especially as a freshman, I mean, I cannot, compliment you enough on that and how proud we are of that. But what made you want to pursue, not only being on the team, but an individual?
Well, it's a really good sport to, not only keep in shape for other sports, but you can set goals for yourself and you can see improvement, and it's just a fun sport for yourself to see that you can improve and you're doing better. And it's easier when I have friends on the team, even though they're not girls, but it can get pretty lonely sometimes, but hey, once you're out there, you're running by yourself anyway, so.
Well, it's almost like golf. You're part of a team, but it's you against the course, I guess, right? Even though you are running against other people. Have you had any success of talking to other girls? Have you had any girls that have came to you, whether they're older or younger, and say, Courtney, I want to be like you, or I want to be a part of what you're doing?
Not yet. I'm working on it.
We keep working on it. I actually had to work on her for a couple of years because she was a soccer player, and at the time for when, just to make choices and work, the one works the other. But I tell them, go recruit. That's what we're working on.
I have a couple people that might be interested in running next year, so.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Tyler, you've had a lot of success, and I've been able to follow your career the last 3 years, and you definitely have improved each year. You've got 1 year left at the cross country level, and do you have aspirations to go maybe to college to run, or is this hey, I'm just going to do this during high school? What are your thoughts?
It all depends on the offer. I don't really have any set goals. Of what colleges I want to go to. But yeah, it just depends what kind of offers come in, and we'll go from there.
Okay. How does it feel one thing I've noticed when I've gone to some of your meets, you see the other kids, and obviously some may not be at your level as far as, but yet it seems your whole team is definitely as one. I'm watching you do your warm-ups, it's a little different than I'm used to, but yet So I think that your team, and I'm sure it starts with the coach, but yet the attitude always reflects down. But, how do you keep your kids so motivated as a group?
Well, we all have one goal as a team. It's to go to states and perform. In every race, you work towards that. So we have a good group of guys that wants to work hard, doesn't mind working hard, and you can tell them to run through a brick wall and they'll do it for you. It's a good group of guys that really wants to see everyone succeed, and that's all it is.
Now, do you both plan on running track this year?
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm doing soccer, so.
We're working on her.
You're working on trying to do both, do a two-sport
If she can
athlete,
do it
which,
both. Oh, yeah, she can.
maybe you could fill in. And then I know, so, Courtney, where are you at for next year and for the rest of your career here at Memphis as far as cross-country goes?
Well, I'm definitely going to continue. I have my goals set for next year and in the future, so I'm going to work even over the summer and between seasons to achieve those goals.
Well, that's fantastic. Again, we're so proud of you and proud of both of you and proud of the overall program, Coach. It's the one sport that,
great.
they're kind of always off doing. You're not running in front of, 500 people on a Friday night under the lights. It's, most of your competition is out by themselves. And I watch the coaches kind of trying to keep up with them. And I'm glad I'm not coaching cross country, but it's a lot easier to be a spectator than that sport. But, what are some of your plans and where do you foresee your program going, Coach?
Well, our original intent was to build lifelong runners. That was just the original intent. And so we had a bunch of kids come out just to run. I myself have been running this is my 40th year of running this last September. And Kelly's been running as a recreational runner for years and years and competing. So that was our original goal. And then we saw what we can be, and then started kind of delving in. Then Aiden kind of moved up and got better and better. And then Aiden comes back and mentors to Tyler and some others.
Yeah.
And so now I see this program as something long after I'm gone or retired or whatever, that it's almost like it's an automated program, just keeps going if you got the right kids to work. And that's where the motivating them and getting them to see that you compete as a team and you also compete individually. But when you let down the team as an individual, that there's going to be, and so that usually doesn't happen, but they can, like Courtney was saying, she can set her goals, her individual goals, and Tyler can set his individual goals and still help the team at the same time. So where I see this program going, I think that, I said this before and I'm probably shooting myself in the foot, but I can see us having a state champion on this team, probably in the very near future. I see us getting a full girls team. We used to have a couple girls that would come out, but let's face it, they have a lot of other things going on, and they will come out a couple times, and sometimes it's too difficult. It's a lot of commitment, a lot of time. You have to get those miles in, and sometimes girls just don't, unfortunately, want to put that time in, or they just want to run for fun, and the competition comes, and they don't have that. I want to beat my time. They're not competitive like Courtney is. So, so we'd like to have a full girls team, a successful full girls team. But if we don't, then we work with who comes.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
But yeah, it's going to be good.
Can you maybe just shortly elaborate on the connection between cross country and track?
Very different sports.
Yeah.
Very different sports. Yes, there's running involved in both. With track, though, you have the variety, obviously, and you've got the field events that you could do. Trying to convince kids to come out and run, they get scared because it's 8 times around for a 2-mile. Different kinds of training. We have to work with individual groups like the hurdlers. Mrs. Trombley, Mrs. Stacy Trombley's assistant coach in that, and Kelly Francis also helps with that. But it's a very different, because in that case, but again, on the good side, you can also individually medal, okay, and also help your team. But we're still very fledgling. We just started that 2 years ago. This is our 3rd year. And now we've trickled down to the junior high. So we're just trying to get that feeder program in. So the kids don't come up into high school and it's a foreign thing, which it was a couple years ago. Now it's starting to get wind. But the funny thing is, as Kelly was mentioning, most of our kids who medal in track are the same kids that medal in cross country. So the heart of the team is the same on both.
On both.
And then we've got these extra kids that we're trying to pull into cross country.
Well, that's the next point I was going to go to, so that's a great point, Coach. Well, I was going to ask you, and maybe you can share this with the kids out there that, I know Tyler used to play baseball.
Right.
And, I personally think track and cross country is something that, if you play a winter sport, I think you always should want to do a track. I know historically in a lot of schools, wrestlers will do some track
Right.
with shot putting and stuff like that, and then you'll have some, obviously basketball players, but you also have some football players that
Right.
run track. So is it feasible, like Courtney said earlier, well, I'm going to do soccer, and we totally appreciate that. Is it comparable that a person could run, play girls soccer and also, or a baseball, or, could do a track and vice versa,
Well,
Is
I'm
it-
pretty forgiving on some of the practices. Obviously, soccer's running. And in a case like that, she already knows how to run a half a mile or a mile or a quarter mile. There's not much training to it as far as, the endurance is what she needs to have. And in soccer, they build that. So I'm trying to talk her into the one helps the other, just like you just said. I'm forgiving on coming in every single practice, as long as she knows to be there and get to whatever meet she can. And that's what we did. We started that with cross country. Come when you can to hook people in. And now we're to the point where we can start turning people away. We're not there yet with track. So with track, I've got to entice them as much as I can. Hey, you don't have to run. You can throw a shot put. You can throw the disc. You can do long jump. We have a long jump pit that you helped put together, that you actually engineered for us. And we thank you for that. But the thing is that with track, you can do your event and then leave, or you can do 4 events and stay and enjoy the team. Okay, so it's a very different sport, and in that I'm heavily recruiting kids to understand, hey, a 100-meter dash is not a 3-mile race. You can be done with a 100-meter dash in 11 seconds, okay?
If you're
3-mile race,
fast.
not so,
right.
if you're fast, okay?
If you're fast.
But the one builds the other, and it's all a matter of having fun and building team. We have a lot of walking talent in these halls, and a lot of the kids not doing any other thing aside from going to school. So I'm hoping that we can reach some of those kids. That's our goal, is to reach those ones, the outliers. Just come on in, be part of it, and have fun with it, at least until we get good enough to qualify for states, and then we can be a little bit more selective.
Well, I think that's fantastic, and I think the biggest thing is, the creativity and scheduling, try to, if you see where you have a track problem with the baseball and the softball,
Right.
You have so many rainouts, or
Right.
you don't know, and then all of a sudden, oh, now we have a rainout, they can still go,
Changes everything.
so there is some creativity there and stuff like that sometimes takes place, but, I can tell you the one thing I'm proud about as athletic director is when I now get phone calls from other ADs, whether they're in our league, but mostly from out of our league, and they'll call and they want us to be a part of it.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
credibility that your teams and yourself have already.
For the second year that started happening.
Yeah.
When we started, yes, we were forced to
And it's the
be
better
ready.
ones.
Yes.
It's not, I look at the schools and I know just enough to be dangerous about what are the better schools, and, when you start seeing those and I forward them to you, it's a compliment to you that, and to your teams that, these better programs and these better tournaments.
Long programs that have been in existence forever.
Because track's a funny thing. I know enough about it, and they don't just bring anybody. Like, they may play a lesser team in a different sport to get a win. For some reason, it doesn't seem that way with cross country and track. They want the better schools there to compete, and so
And we got some invitations.
you get some good invitations, and that's awesome. So, again, I just, on behalf of all of Memphis Athletics, I want to compliment both of you on a fantastic season.
Thank you.
It's a joy
Thank
to
you.
come out and watch you, even in the rainy days. It seems like every time I go, it's raining. It seems
Cold
like,
rain.
I found a dugout at Marysville. I was able to stand underneath that, but it's been great to watch you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next year. And and Courtney, the same thing. You've got 3 more good years ahead. You can coach. We look forward to tremendous success this year in track and in the future with cross country.
Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Yep, get there.
Well, again, congratulations and thank you on behalf
Thank
of
you.
everyone from Memphis.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fortunately, we're going to have Coach Lori Sanborn stay with us, and we're going to have a segment where we're going to talk about another accolade from one of her cross-country athletes in a few minutes. Thank you.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
There's a buzz around Memphis the success in the classroom,
and our rich music and choir program
are leading the way.
By building a sound foundation,
the future looks brighter than ever.
our softball program,
high jump solid studs,
our girls basketball program,
Shooting for the stars,
our Memphis Athletic Booster Program,
a soccer league three-peat,
knocking down the competition,
cross country state bound again,
swinging for the fences, wrestling district champs 4 years in a row,
Small town Friday night lights. Memphis boys basketball protecting the high.
Memphis bass fishing team, fish on.
Memphis Equestrian, enjoy the ride.
We have a team for you. Come be a part of it. Hi, welcome back to the Memphis Sting Report. We now have a new guest with us. We have senior Connor Bagnall.
Hi.
How you doing, Connor? Welcome to the Memphis Sting Report. We asked Connor to come today, and we're going to ask him a few questions. Lori Sanborn, we've had some exciting news to help support our cross-country team and aspire some of our younger athletes in the junior high and in the high school to maybe want to become a cross-country runner. And Coach Sanborn, you have some really exciting news that you can share with the fans about what happened with Connor so far?
Well, just as you know, our first runner, Aiden Francis, a couple of years ago got a letter to run for Alpena Community College, which is an outstanding program. And Connor just came in to me today, as a matter of fact, and told me that he's getting ready to sign his letter of intent also for Alpena. So this will be our second runner that has gotten a scholarship to go run for the next level, which is very exciting.
That is a congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a heck of an honor, Connor. And again, a couple years ago, we had the pleasure of seeing Aiden, go from Memphis to Alpena. There must be a good connection between there. Probably you see all the snow, they figure
Yeah,
it'll be right at
they
home
like
up
the
there.
snow.
They like the guys that like to run in the snow, I guess. But Connor, congratulations. I mean, what kind of feeling was that for you today to open up that letter?
It felt pretty good. I was very excited that I was able to get a scholarship for something that I love, and it helps my parents as well as me for paying for the tuition for college.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Was that one of your goals, or did it come out as a surprise, or was that one of your goals?
One of my goals was to get a scholarship for running. I didn't know if that would happen because I don't know how good my times are compared to everyone else, but I was very ecstatic when I got the letter of intent.
Well, that's fantastic. You've obviously done a good job in the classroom as well. And we're very proud of you about that, to go along with your exploits in the cross-country field. I guess, what are some things you may want to share that, to a younger runner, that, to what that feeling you had today, but more importantly, what it takes to get to where you're at today?
So, when you start cross-country, it's always tough because you're not in shape, you're not used to running, so then it's always painful and it hurts. But after a while, once you get better at doing it,
you're trying to get kids to run.
I know. It gets better though. Once you get into the groove, it's really fun to just be able to go out, run, and it's really relaxing if you just put on some music and stuff. You have to be very dedicated to the sport. You don't need to exactly kill yourself per se, but you need to work really hard to better yourself every time you go out to a meet. And you also got to learn from your mistakes, like in any other sport.
Well, that's a good point. I like you elaborate. You have a very established coaching staff, and I coach a sport, but I'm not out there playing with them, on a daily basis. Yet I see the coaches out there running with the kids. What are some of the assistance they've given to not only you but to the team that has helped you and the team?
The coaching.
Yeah.
Miss Sanborn in particular, same with Miss Francis. They helped out by inspiring us to run, giving us tips and tricks on what we should do, how we should improve, telling us about our running styles and how they are individualized for us and what we can do to improve ourselves. And overall, they're just a positive influence to have around. They don't really yell at you, scream at you, unless it's necessary.
We do.
Not in a rude manner.
I know.
Well, they're both soft-spoken, so they're yelling a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, they're just they were great leaders for the cross country team, and they helped us really get into it.
He's not mentioning it. He is a black belt in karate. So when he came on to cross country, we knew he had discipline, and he went from the training of at the dojo to training on the course.
Right.
And another little quick side note he's not mentioning is that when he started track this last year, he had an injury and couldn't run, and it just about killed him. But instead of just quitting and not being there or whatever, and it would have been justified, he decided he was going to learn how to throw the shot put. And I thought that was really cool. So he moved to to be part of the team, which is really cool to do. Not many kids would have done that.
Well, percentage, whether you go to an Alpena or University of Michigan, the percentage of kids that play a particular sport and actually get that opportunity, whether it's on a scholarship or as a walk-on, is about 1% of all the athletes.
Wow.
It's not a great percentage. So, that type of character is what helps you get to the next level. And I'm sure that's what Alpena saw in you, and that's what we've had the pleasure of seeing you in the classroom and obviously on the cross-country course. Again, we're so proud of you. I'm sure your family's very proud. We hope that we can share with you and your family upon signing day and be able to share it with the Memphis community, just how proud we are, and just enjoy your day with you. So, any last things you want to say to maybe a younger person that's thinking about doing it, other than it hurts?
Yeah.
It's really hard. Anything else you'd like to share?
If it's worth it, right?
Well, anything worth doing is hard, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it. Right?
Yeah. Just the simple, don't give up no matter what gets thrown at you. Sort of like how Miss Sanborn mentioned my injuries. I've had quite a few injuries throughout my cross country and track career, but I've always bounced back and still improved no matter what. I never stopped running.
Kept working.
Well, again, congratulations. I'm so proud for you and your family. And Coach, thank you. Because without you, Aiden Francis and all the athletes after him, wouldn't be able to have something to aspire to. So thank you for all you do and for keeping the program, definitely
It's going up.
improving.
We're getting better.
Like Aiden has done, please come back and visit us, after you graduate. So, because that's great. I know I've seen him out at the practice facility, kids all kind of look up to him. So they will already do that now that he gets out and you've gotten a scholarship. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, as you can see, we have some really exciting things happening here at Memphis Athletics. We've had a phenomenal fall season, and the winter season is not disappointing as well. We've had some great accomplishments by our teams, our cheerleaders, our wrestlers, our basketball programs are doing a great job. We have a bowling team that's young that's doing some fantastic things. So we look forward to meeting here in the very near future. We'll sit down and have a winter season recap, as well as we'll also talk about our spring sports that are right around the corner and coming up soon, which we had some great expectations with that as well. So until next time, I look forward to meeting with you again. This is Drake Okie, Athletic Director of Memphis, for the Memphis Team Report. Thank you.